Welcome back. Uh, The other thing about Ojai is there seems to be constant plays in Libby Park, at the Ojai Community Center. There's always some kind of fundraising going on. It's a very aware community. We have watched community gardens being built in the local schools, a real dedication to nature. One of my neighbors, Marianne O'Connor, is having a fundraiser on biodiversity and was kind enough to bring me the founder. And Sarah, tell us a little bit about yourself, your organization, and we're going to let you loose.
Great. My name is Sarah Otterstrom, and I'm the founder and executive director of Paso Pacifico. And Paso Pacifico is a Ventura County-based nonprofit organization focused on empowering rural communities in Central America, both fishing and farming communities, and helping them to restore forests, protect coral reefs, and to connect the local biodiversity for their benefit and for the benefit of threatened wildlife and forests.
So burning down the Amazon forest hasn't been good for the animals and the people and...
No, in fact, it hasn't been really good. And one of the interesting things about where Paso Pacifico works is we're focused on Central America, which is sometimes considered part of North America and is very geographically close to a lot of people in California. People from Ventura often vacation in Costa Rica or Nicaragua. And really, in the past century, most of the region, and specifically the Pacific slope of that region, was deforested. And so a lot of the wildlife, including wildlife that we would consider very charismatic, like the critically endangered spider monkey, the Central American spider monkey, is extinct in most of Western Central America. And so the spider monkey needs a connected forest canopy. It needs the trees to connect at the top. The spider monkeys can't come to the ground and to move across the landscape. And so for them to find food, they need an intact forest. And just like spider monkeys need food, communities need food, and they need water. And water resources come from watersheds. And so part of restoring the forest for the spider monkeys turns into restoring the forest for communities. Because the Pacific slope ecosystems of Central America are also called dry tropical forests. And that is, they are seasonally dry and they're very prone to drought. And so if the area is deforested, the rivers and the watersheds are more prone to drying out, and communities are left without water and thereby left oftentimes without food and livelihoods. So part of our effort is not just restoring the forest for the wildlife, but it's really about developing a community well-being that's integrative and that is sustainable for the long term in the region.
One of the things we have going on in Ojai right now is some controversy about the water supply itself and where we're going to get our water and how we pay for it. And when we were in the Honduras, I was offered, well, you can go to the Mosquito Coast with us. We'll be in a dugout canoe, and if you fall out, the piranha will eat you. So we went in by helicopter, and the biggest problem was that in the wells were the coral snakes, that they had a problem reaching in for the water if a coral snake's going to come back in the bucket. And then the other is just the things we were talking about with Dr. Skanke, is we really want people to be able to fish for themselves rather than just bring in a tourist dollar. What kinds of things are you doing to help them to self-sustain?
So we really also believe that communities need to be self-sustaining, and we also believe that conservation and biodiversity conservation shouldn't be a value that is placed upon communities by North Americans or people from Ventura, but it needs to be something embraced locally. And so we achieve that by three ways. One, we create employment and provide economic incentives and benefits. So for example, we work to protect endangered sea turtles that are nesting on the beach. And normally, pretty much 100% of sea turtles nesting on the coast of Nicaragua presently, the eggs are stolen to be used for commercial purposes, to sell the turtle eggs in the capital city. And so we met together with a group of turtle egg poachers, and we said, listen, you know, we know this is a business for you, but it's hurting your community. It's leaving you on the beaches at night. It's leading to dependency on alcohol when there's a big sale of turtle eggs. Let's find a different path. And so we have a team of turtle egg rangers, and these rangers are people who are former poachers, and now they've been doing it now for 5 years, and they can affix satellite transmitters to sea turtles, so scientists can monitor the movement of endangered sea turtles internationally. They can host visitors. They're employed by Paso Pacifico. They receive a salary, a Social Security benefits, and now they are leaders in their community, because the next area where we work to empower communities is through youth. And we really believe that by empowering and supporting a new generation, we can change attitudes and beliefs in communities. And so our rangers who patrol turtle nesting beaches, and we have another set of rangers who patrol and protect forests and help us to monitor the wildlife in the forest. They lead a program called the Junior Ranger Program. And we have a multifaceted educational program where children get to do interactive environmental education. These are children from rural communities who oftentimes don't have a lot of opportunities for recreation. And these kids get to go on field trips, they get to learn how to use binoculars, they get to learn about some of the international interest in much of their wildlife. And when they complete their project as part of their graduation from this program that we call the Junior Ranger Program, they earn a badge for each segment they do. And so the kids lead a community service project, and then they graduate. And by doing a community service and then receiving the recognition as junior rangers, getting their badge and becoming part of this network, the children are empowered, and they see a future that's more that's brighter, that they realize that they are part of a global community, just like we in Ventura are part of a global community.
And so how can we in Ventura learn? We're going to learn through this television program. Do you work with the schools here? I know the fundraiser should help raise community awareness. So how are you spreading the word up here as well?
Well, I think we need to do a better job at that. But one thing that I do, and some of my staff at the Ventura office, where Paso Pacifico is headquartered, is we do outreach events in the schools, in the high schools in Ventura and beyond. We also provide opportunities for children in schools to write letters to the children in Nicaragua and exchange thoughts and feelings they have about wildlife or observations they have about wildlife. But we're working to build that. One area that we're very interested in is, because we're focused on integrative health, integrative conservation and community integration, is that we want to also address some very basic health issues that the communities confront. And Nicaragua suffers from a lot of poverty, but in general, the families are fed. They do not lack calories, but they lack nutrition. And there's a problem of chronic childhood malnutrition. And a lot of that comes from farms, and the food production is primarily based on the production of corn. But there's not a diversity in household gardens. And household gardens are of interest to Paso Pacifico because there's a lot of genetic diversity in traditional crops, and also other crops that can be introduced. And also, by having diverse crops and farms, it creates a more porous landscape. And when we say porous landscape, we mean that wildlife and animals, and whether it's insects and butterflies or bats, they all can interact in a more diverse and healthy way with that landscape. And so our vision is to work, and we've begun work with rural clinics in helping women and children to have better access and better supplies in their health clinics. And the medium-term goal is to work with volunteers, hopefully from Ventura, who will come and work with issues of women's health and also household nutrition, and combine that with enriching community rural farms and strengthening food production to benefit biodiversity and to benefit the rural communities. So.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much for what you're doing. And
thank you.
Ventura, there's one more place for you to get moving. We need to help people in Nicaragua. We need to learn from this ourselves, and time to save the animals in the forests.